All right. Hey, YouTube. Good morning. Hope everybody is starting a great Independence Day. As much as this chat might not seem like it, I'm just going to kind of do it live and get my monologue out of the way and see if anybody drops in. Hopefully, everybody's out fishing or doing a parade or something. Um, don't hang out here with me, but come back and check it out later, right? Um, I just continue. I get exasperated and frustrated, I guess, on the condition of things very easily, or it's ongoing. You never recover from the exasperation from the last time, right? Um, but with the current Independence Day being in a very, very unusual situation, right? Our status as a country is very up in the air, I guess you'd say. There's a lot of concern in amongst the populace. This is the first real um, America hasn't been tried like this in a long time internally. I'm not talking about the external problems. Well, what course we're going to choose, right? Um, People are daily choosing to push this country towards more collective, central control, police state authoritarianism every day. And then we come upon an Independence Day, and you challenge people's thoughts and what they're doing and their actions versus their words, and they get all indignant and say, "You hate America, right?" Yeah, I'm the one that hates America because I want it to live up to its founding and not take it down the road of this authoritarian police state that everybody keeps pushing for. Both left and right, they're all pushing it in the same direction, right? The the people that want the police to crack down on all this mess, the people that want the National Guard to be deployed at every little drop of every little incident that might challenge their chosen one Trump, who somehow has convinced everybody he's not still a Democrat. Um, he might not be a full blown communist Democrat, but he's definitely a corporate Democrat. Um, so if you challenge their homeboy, they want to deploy the National Guard at every little turn now, that and just crush their fellow citizen. And on the opposite side, you have this group who are being used as useful idiots to implement a nationalized police force. This all these calls for um, defunding of local police is nothing more than a guise to federalize it, fund it. It's already federally funded, large majority of every police force, federal funded, federally trained. All their information, all their training and tactics, it all comes from centralized, you know, out there in Quantico. You know, it all comes from the top down. Just like your board of education doesn't have control over your education system, your local county city commissioners don't have control of their law enforcement to a large degree. It takes somebody to really step up and reject a lot of that stuff to be independent. But that's what everybody's wishing for this Independence Day, and you challenge them on it, and you hate America, and this is great. Why would you want to destroy the greatest country on earth? Well, we weren't formed to we weren't formed to be this great centralized imperial nation. We were formed to promote freedom of the individual. The basis was put in place. People continue to and this is really evident right now with all the statue burning and all the erasing of history, which is the communist tactic. But the people that, like, well, it wasn't that, there's tons of people in the middle and who aren't affiliated with, like, I get you, they like, yeah, I get it, just destroy, take down those statues or whatever. um, People fail to understand we're supposed to progress in this country towards freedom. The Constitution was not the perfection of freedoms for the individual and peace and tranquility. It was the beginning of a destination. And boy, did we jump off the track quickly. And people don't want to reset and re-grab that history and progress in that. They would rather continue to turn over their freedoms for security over and over and over in history. The last, what are we at, 254 years, something like that. That's where we're at. People have continued to make the wrong decisions and continue to support the authoritarianism to the point to where we're much worse off than our founders were. Much worse off as far as taxation, individual liberties, freedom of movement, um, freedom of your person and belongings are all much greater, much more under threat than they were from the king, who sat miles and miles away, thousands of miles, and his henchmen that he sent forward to impose his laws were very easily thwarted and resisted. 244 West. Hey, what's up, West? Thanks. I just caught that as I looked over. My math's way off, right? Yeah, oh yeah, that would have been 56, right? Yeah, 244. My bad. Still finishing my first coffee. So people have continued to make the wrong decisions, not just us. And I think that's one of the problems of the current generation is failure to. We take every succeeding generation and ones before us. We feel like that if things go south and go bad, and we reorganize in some fashion, that it's our fault that we failed the greatest nation. No, it wasn't that we failed. It's just like when Lincoln made the statement he would keep the country together by all means possible in any manner, whatever it would take. He failed to grasp the gravity of the situation and instead chose to kill hundreds of thousands of people. To make the tough decision it would be better to have a certain part of the populace be free at least and go and do our thing, or at least try to become more free. Absolute freedom is probably a pipe dream, especially in the era of thermonuclear war and massive armies of other countries. It's hard to resist that without a certain amount of organization, right? But everybody always fearmongers that any dissolution of the Union is an automatic death sentence for everybody, and it's going to be the Balkans or everything all over. And it's like, what do you think's coming if we continue on our current course? This 2020 is just a prelude of what's coming, you know. But I got off topic there a little bit. But our problem is, generation to generation, we continue to take more and more pain and have more and more infringements and more reduction in liberties for the very sake of the only thing that people are worried about is continuing to withhold the Union together, right? It's a Lincoln doctrine at the individual level. People are willing to do anything just to hold the Union together because they can't see past that. I don't know, propaganda is a bad word, tradition maybe, that hold it is just hold it together, because America, it's not about the Union. It wasn't supposed to be. And it was supposed to be about the promotion and improvement of freedom of the individuals. The Jeffersonian democracy dream definitely went away during industrialization, you know, because Jefferson had this idea of coast to coast agrarian country with individual landowners, and boy, did the BLM and the industrialization put a squash on that. That's probably, I mean, we never got even close to that Jeffersonian ideal as far as individual freedoms. So where do we go? And if I don't understand how people think we can continue on the path of less freedom. It's everybody, and everybody still it was hot on the Twitter yesterday, the whole Q thing and all these. There's going to be arrests still, and it's like, no, it's not. If there were this massive, or if there was this influential, substantial group of quote unquote patriots in the black deep state government, they would have done something long before now. And I made the comment like, they would have done it. Why didn't they do it during Obama? Why didn't they do it during Bush after 9/11? Why didn't they do it? I was like, a good time would have been after Waco. But you could have just, once somebody woke up to the corruption of Hoover and the first FBI to begin with, if looking at just how Hoover ran the FBI, you could have easily had patriots stand up and do the right thing, right? But we wanted the peaceful security because of the threat of the Russians and the communists at the time. We were people willing to accept that because they thought they were fighting back against the communists with that internal dissolution of their freedoms and liberties. So thus here we are, but people aren't willing to understand we're well past the time of dissolution if you value freedom more than union. As long as union takes priority, and there's this cult of that the country first no matter what, as long as that exists in people's mind frames, Independence Day is going to be nothing more than lip service. And that's, I guess, my point. I just wanted to get that off my chest today. It's every Independence Day. It's like, yes, it's a reason to celebrate. It's something, we want to remember and all the things that go with it. But people fail to put into action the things they're trying to remember. And granted, you can only do so much at the individual level, but you have to at least promote it. You can't just accept the status quo of centralization authoritarianism as being compatible with the Independence Day vision. It's just not there. Independence Day, again, was not meant to create this big oligarchy government, corporatism. It was meant to promote individual freedom with the minimal amount of government that they could conceive at the time. Remember, these are men of their times, and their outlook and their perception on how things worked had to match with what they were putting together and what they could foresee. And we didn't improve upon it. We failed to improve upon that. We continued to dodge that. With these guys' dreams and visions of conquest, the Monroe Doctrine, the manifest destiny of the predecessors, this country could have broken up at the beginning, not even broken up, could have built upon republic instead of centralizing control as it grew across the continent. You could have little republics established along the way where Texas didn't join the Union. Texas stayed independent republic. That would have much better promoted individual liberty versus where we are now. So now that I kind of got my point out, hope everybody's having a good day. It's like we got several people checking in here. I'm trying to finish up my coffee now and look at some comments. I figured everybody would be halfway to the fishing hole and grilling out and stuff. Sigma Tactical, good morning. The Crazy Scotsman's with us. The Crazy American Scotsman. You need a name change, Scotsman. Congratulations on his citizenship. Poison Stinger, good morning. Yeah, 244, my math's way off. Let's see who else. West S. Milk Mom, good morning. How you doing? Frosty Desert Dwellers, good morning. Yeah, yeah, Poison. There's several of us desert guys in here. Half the time it seems like all the East Coast folks show up. Uman, what's up? QAnon sense. Hey, what's up, Uman? Yeah, right. The QAnon mythology, the mythos of Q. It's like people that cognitive dissonance. And it's like I was telling people about, it's like a daily struggle to try to get people to, you try to wake up one person at a time, right? To show them at least, hey, this is some truth right here, right? You try to just show that. It's like you shake your head. It's like, again, if there were this little secretive group of patriots that were in this, linked in with the deep state government, why would they wait until now, when supposedly the guy that can do the most good is in charge and should be able to do it without them, right? But no, they have to have these mysterious postings and stuff. It's controlled opposition, as we know. West says, if the Union breaks up into smaller countries, better hope the whole world does as well. Well, that's a problem. I mean, obviously, but the thing is, we can break up into tiny republics and still work together for common good, for common defense, right? Much like the original colonies on the Independence Day were individual states and acted as individual states, but came together for a common cause to fight off the greatest nation in the world. All states provided their own military, militias, and everything else. The vision of that and how that works is just totally lost on our modern minds. But it's not beyond the reason. Protect. Somebody, it comes from the Pacific or the Atlantic, we can agree to get together and defeat the invasion. But that takes a little bit of coordination and cooperation. But really, I mean, Wes, really, who's gonna? Why would anybody invade when they can just continue to suck the life out of us? It's when they stop sucking the life out of us that they would want to do that. But there's a whole other background on the economic side and how our collapse directly affects everybody else in such a drastic way that no, invasion is out of the question in my mind. It's the economic relationship that is really the question. So I wouldn't call us toast necessarily, Wes, because they're not going to have the power, the means, or the ability to do anything about it anyway. Believe it or not, that's a long. We could write doctoral papers on both those arguments and both be right. Hey, what's Poison doing yard selling? Really? Out yard selling on the 4th of July. Wow. Andy in New Hampshire, what's up? They got your girl Gus Maxwell up there. That's a interesting part of the whole background. Hey, War Drums, what's up? Good morning. Yeah, I got to finish my coffee. This Mule team's in the house. Hope you're having a good day, Mule. Yes, let it continue, right? It's definitely continuing. Movie Copperhead. Should I look it up? Is that on Netflix, Wes? Copperhead. The invasion has happened. Okay, I guess I caught up to the comments here. The invasion has happened. Is that right? Well, we have culturally we're more culturally in tune with what the Mexicans and the Central Americans bring than what a lot of other parts of the world bring, in particularly Asia. Hey, Broseph Russell, what's up? I haven't seen any videos from you, Broseph, in a while. I know J-Mac did a couple a while back I saw. I don't know, I haven't seen anything from you. Am I been missing out? Have I been unsubscribed? It's one of those things, you can't see everything on YouTube, but I do enjoy a good Broseph Russell video. Hey, what's up, Chance? Range cards updated. It's on Netflix. All right, Copperhead Road, Netflix. Roger. Mules will be blowing stuff up. Broseph's working. All right, Broseph. At least you're in the good position of having employment, and we know so many that are unemployed. This will be it's a tough year ahead for a lot of people. But yeah, hopefully everybody's blowing something up, popping some caps, doing those things. So that's my tough love that I try to dish out every Independence Day, is that should be a day of celebrating independence, not celebrating government. uh, I almost, you know, they bring out the military shows and everything else, and it's like it's it's like we feel the need, and it stems back hundreds of years, right? To everybody felt the need to collectively show this collective attitude to the rest of the world because they're all coalesced into a collective organizations, And then when the communist threat came up, it really got ramped up, after World War II. Pretty much everything nationally took on a whole different role after World War II, and the communist threat was put front and center. It had to, their patriotism definitely ramped up. Your wife said no, Wes? Man, Mrs. West just laying down the law and say you have to be in the press. It's infringing on your Independence Day. Right? You live in democracy, I get one vote and she gets two. Right? Well, you could always say, Wes, a woman's personality, she gets one vote for each of them, right? So she's probably got 5 or 6 votes. It's like most women, right? Don't tell her I said that. But that's tough, Wes. Tough day. Yeah, we're going to try to get the grill going here a little later. It's real. I'm just finishing breakfast. You know that? You ever have those big Costco muffins and you say you're only going to eat half the muffin? Yeah, you go ahead and finish the whole thing, right? It is what it is. No, Mule, I don't have any. I wasn't directed to link up or have any. What's the word? There was no evolution going down today that I was briefed on, so no. Oh, she can hear me, Wes? Uh-oh, I'm afraid for sure. What's up, Andy? I failed to recognize those graphics. Is that a firework, whirl, globe? Oh, eagle, globe, and anchor. Oh, is that an eagle? It's hard to see on the screen there. All you see is a little white part of the head of the bird. So what about the eagle, globe, and anchor, Andy? I'm not sure what you're referring to. I just see the emoji. Careful with the muffins. Yeah, they're dangerous for sure. That's why you can only eat one at a time, right? But yeah, it's what you sit down with. I'm gonna eat half of this. Oh well, I'll just finish the whole thing. Hey, Liberty for All. Hey, what's up? No, I have not Liberty for All. I did some reprioritizing. It goes back to oh goodness, I did that video a while back about the quarantine questions. It's been back that long since I went to the coin shop, I think. With the spreads just being so huge, I'm really I'm a $20 guy. That's kind of what I look at as if I can get something for under $20, I'm gonna get it. But with the premiums in place, I think everything's still above $20. So I kind of tuned out of that since that jump. I think I got some stuff when it was above 20, but not much. Just cash in hand with the overtime and everything. I was working back in March. I got something and it was 21 something or whatever it was, but I kind of turned it off after there wasn't nothing I really needed and just reprioritized other things instead of getting silver, I guess. So not lately. It's been a while. Even during that time frame, I kind of just went and I was like looking at Morgans and Peace dollars. Didn't even really get anything else. Playing with the emojis, huh, Andy? Okay. Oh, Mule is sad. What was the third, Reb? Anyway, Reb man went out. Did you go out capping, putting rounds down range yesterday, Reb? Left me out. Got a whole lot of nothing accomplished yesterday. Probably don't get anything accomplished today. So really behind the power curve on all the things that need to get accomplished, right? There's always something. And my muffin wants to fall apart on me right towards the end. Wes, how big question. How thick does steel plate need to be to stop 223 and 762? I don't know why you're asking vets. It's not like they use steel plate a lot. Really, Wes, a lot of it has to do with how it's tempered and how it's hardened steel or not. Has a lot to do with it, and just the way the steel plate is formed and everything. I mean, I would just look at the AR 500 armor stuff is what, half an inch plate, something like that. I don't remember. It doesn't take a whole lot to stop a 223 or I mean 1-inch plate. I think 1-inch plate, the only thing that defeats 1-inch plate I think is 50 cal. So this depends on how it's hardened steel or not. Made what, So I there's more information online than that. I can get out of here, Wes. I know that. I just know the AR 500, that steel plate armor like that, is not terribly thick. I'm pretty sure it's not half-inch. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the half-inch is the AR 500 armor, and that defeats 308 up to 308. I think. I have to look. I'd look it up, Wes. But if you go to the AR 500 website, they can tell you how thick their armor is, and you can look at that and compare that with what it stops and whatnot. But it's not like, I mean, if you're talking about wearing it or using it in a defensive, like perimeter, like defensive position, is a whole different perspective, right? To use it for shielding or something, or putting it on a vehicle or something like that, like it gets really heavy really fast. Plate armor is no joke. See, and look here with Poison Stinger trying to jump ahead in my video catalog. Have I done a chest rig setup video? I have thought about redoing one recently because I have some different kit I was going to talk about. In the past, I never really did one because I had a real minimalist setup. I had a Blackhawk chest rig that was basic of all basics. It just had pouches, and I think I've talked about in an old video way back when, I'm sure. But it's just enough for magazine pouches. It doesn't have any MOLLE attachment areas or nothing. So that's a real minimalist, right? And I've recently got something else and was going to do a video on the comparisons and whatnot. And people argue about chest rig setups probably more than they argue about AR versus AK. But I might be doing one soon. So if that answers your question, Poison. Oh, your wife doesn't get one chance? Oh, in search for your truck doors, right, Wes? Okay. That's always a good thought to be able to, if you needed to armor your stuff up. But it's heavy. I mean, where did I see a video or saw somebody that was doing basically a bug out vehicle, and they put the armor on, just talking about, the weight that goes on there, and just the everything has to be buffed, bulked up. Your everything from your hinges on your doors, unless you could weld your door shut and go in through the window or something. I don't know. To the suspension on the vehicle, if you get that much on there, and how it depends on how much you want to put in there and on it. But it gets really hard because these vehicles nowadays ain't made to hold that kind of weight. There's a reason up armored vehicles cost so much. Oh, you're getting level 4's poison. Wow. Goodness. Trying to cheat, Wes. Yeah, it really just depends on the steel and what you get and how the hardness of it. Because steel is all, there's different, levels of manufacture and how it's manufactured, what it's for, of how hard it is, and everything. But if I had half-inch steel, that's kind of what I would look at. Anything half-inch and bigger is going to be great for what you're probably concerned about. Again, the only thing you really worry about is 50 cal. You know what I'm saying? Or obviously, if you had armor piercing, somebody had armor piercing rounds, but who's going to have who? Anybody that's shooting at West is not going to have armor piercing, right? Hopefully not. Oh, you're watching some of the chest rig videos. Got to be 100 pounds, not counting the plates. Yeah, that's a big thing. Is people like to pack a lot of stuff on that stuff sometimes. You got to. I would just think about task and purpose, and that's one thing I was going to talk about in the video I made. Is like the reason I run a chest rig and not just a plate carrier is because, especially in mountainous areas, and a lot of things you're going to do, you're going to be moving so much that a plate carrier is going to be so restrictive. Yes, it provides that extra level of security, but there's also a train of thought of speed is security, as much as just having that safety of the plate. It really just depends on what you're doing. Really, plate carriers and that whole thing came about just as they're more you had better movement than wearing a full flak vest, and a lot of people still rode in vehicles, and that initial contact from the vehicle, getting in the vehicle, getting out of the vehicle, and that contact, and that anytime you get contact with when you're near a vehicle and stuff like that, is what plate carrier was really valuable, right? A plate carrier is not a long range patrol item, if you know what I'm saying. I did numerous combat patrols with just a chest rig, which is when I got my original Blackhawk. My Blackhawk rig is like 16 years old. For mountainous patrolling in Afghanistan, we didn't carry plates or plate carriers up in the mountains. It's madness. You physically are hindering yourself from being able to do anything once you do get into contact when you're wearing stuff like that. I don't know if I got some pictures laying around somewhere of just us slick patrolling like that, which is the way we had, for the decades prior to, OIF and OEF, we had planned to patrol in the, doing all this fighting without plates, and patrolling Vietnam style, I guess you would say. It was a lot of the train of thought, but then there's this balance of safety versus security, right? And speed. Being speedy and flexible is sometimes more important. West too old for Dukes of Hazzard, right? Yeah, I know you're important, West. I'm just saying that any enemies of you aren't going to have access to that type of stuff. I'm sure everybody on your side has that type of stuff. That's what I'm saying. Chance B says, "Get a cutting torch and make your own." That's always a good option. Poison got level 4 because they don't make a level 5. Well, that's when you have to go to the West S option. What Poison and really get the big stuff to just have your own moving tank, basically. Yeah, just do like Saints did. He got that video from a couple years ago. They got that route clearance vehicle, as I call it. You get that's what all those good historical vehicles are good for. They still got armor. You don't need a weapon on it to be a significant uh, force to be reckoned with. If you're rolling an armored vehicle, nobody can really do anything to you. And then when you get the opportunity, you strike back. That's the danger of the MRAP. You know, the MRAPs that all the local forces are getting, right? Yeah, you can pin them up, and there's a way to defeat their mobility, but you really can't do anything to the people inside until they're out. Brastard 762, what's going on? You get the side skirt over from a Bradley. Oh, that's nice. That can't hurt, right? 3-inch plates poison. That sounds a little excessive. I don't know how you would manage to carry that around. 3-inch steel plate. Goodness, that would weigh more than your whole body weight probably. Just a little, just the 10 by 12s, 11 by 14s chest plate carriers. That's 3-inch plate. Boom. Yeah, there's no way you'd be able to function with that. Yeah, so it sounds like everybody's got good plans for the 4th. Enjoy your day. We're over the half-hour mark. What else we got? It looks like Mule just dropped a video already. Mule's already halfway through his day. Continuing the long-standing tradition of Let Freedom Ring. Hashtag. When did that start? That started like 6-7 years ago. I can't remember who started that. 4th of July YouTube VR production. That was a long time ago. Anybody remember who started that? Wes S says 2-inch plate size of your chest weighs 183 pounds. Yeah, there you go. Add 1 more inch to that, Wes. Imagine what that weighs. Recovery hatch a hatch from an M88 recovery vehicle. Yeah, that should be rated pretty high, I would think. Right? Yeah, if you could get behind that might help you out a little bit. It's a shame to have to think in those terms, but it's always good to plan your defense wisely, right? Was there any? I didn't see any massive social unrest yesterday. There was the minor stuff at Mount Rushmore, just a little protest. Then I saw there was an incident in Seattle where some protesters got run over, but there wasn't massive unrest or anything like that. It didn't seem like everybody's kind of predicting today will be a day. There's somebody's going by. But everybody's kind of on pins and needles to a certain degree, thinking the communists might try to make a significant statement today. To be determined. I guess they're here in Carson City today, about time now. I think, was it like 9:30? Yeah, starting here soon. See if anything turns up like of that. I don't know. I just think it's one of those things like you really want to make people mad, which, again, these people are just being used as useful idiots. There was a video I saw last night. There were people protesting in somewhere, and it was Breonna Taylor is the main. I don't know if it was in Houston or where it was, but I figured it had to be nearby, right? But they were marching for Breonna Taylor, right? She was the EMS. She's EMS, and she's the one that got shot in her bed in the middle of the night, right? Really unjustified. Police were never charged. There's no body cameras. It's total whitewashing of the whole situation. and everybody's getting off scot-free, it seems like, when somebody should be in prison for unjustified killing, but that's not seem to be happening. um, but they were doing this march, and of course it's under the title of Black Lives Matter, which is your first problem. um, but it was in the middle of the night. It was like late. um, I'm pretty sure it was live last night my time, and it was like late. If it was Houston, it had to be after midnight. um, and it's like, what do you think your message you're getting across by doing a march like that in the middle of the night in the current situation? You're not getting your message across. People are just going to be hiding in fear or watching you, waiting for you to do something stupid. People aren't responding to what you're asking or what you're saying. They're just waiting for you to do something off the um, outside of the norm, outside of the peaceful protest vein. Because once it gets dark, your protest is not, especially when you're walking through neighborhoods, walking down streets, and you're a mob like that. It's not good optics. And you're being played if you think that that's going to get your point across, and what you're asking. It's like, we all said, back when this all started, it's like we've been talking about police the police state, overuse of police brutality, all the different catchwords, and all the different problems with the police, quote unquote, for years. But to say just that um, the way this agenda is being played out is obviously the nationalization of the forces instead of actual true pulling back authority, the qualified immunity problem. There shouldn't be qualified immunity, all these other things that are problematic that have caused this, the centralized training and the centralized funding of police forces that have led to a lot of this. So, but anyway, I just find it like, yeah, you're not getting nobody's joining your side if you're marching through their neighborhood at midnight. They're not coming over and be like, oh yeah, I agree with you guys. I can see what you're saying. No, they're worried the mob's going to start burning stuff down. But anyway, what I'm missing the side chat. Sorry, Hey Midas, what's up, Midas? How you doing? Pop's Quest started it. All right. It was a long time. It was way back when that started. It's been going on for a long time. How's it going, Midas, up there? Poison figure. You're going to lose the weight, so be used to carrying a lot. Take advantage of not having to carry a lot and just riding it. Enjoy that. Your joints will thank you. Wes used to make parts. Hey, have a good Independence Day, Chance. Have a good one. Right, Wes? Well, Wes, I would say nobody should be targeted, and I guess you'd say basically attacked just for what they're doing. But police forces are absolutely out of control. But that's the problem you have, is like you have the mob and the police forces on the very local level seem to be and are perceived, and in a lot of ways are that protective line, but it's turned into a cult, and it's turned into something that cannot be questioned and cannot be changed. There's many that don't want to change it, and that's going to lead to more nationalization, more centralization, more top-down control, less local control. And that's what I'm talking about, is all these, every police force should be locally controlled, every sheriff's department, etc., right? They should have local control. They fund it. They get what they get. You don't have billions and billions of dollars centralized in DC, made up by the Federal Reserve, come down to fund things that aren't necessary, but create mission creep to where police forces start doing things just because they have the money to do them. That's what's causing the problems. If I'm making things clear. Just about every problem we have in this country I can trace back to the Federal Reserve Bank. Don't get me started. Um, but it's true. Everything is based upon the funding that allows it to happen, and it's all caused by the central bank, which is not tied to reality. They just make it up as they go, and whatever Congress asks for, they get, and it trickles down. And that's where 99% of our problems lie, other than the immorality and the problems in the hearts of men. But that also, greed is part of the central bank as well. So I understand, Wes. You don't want anybody to be shot or anything like that. Cops don't need to be attacked just for ad hominem. That's not the right thing either. I'm not saying that at all. But I can't. And I don't bring it up often because I mean I have to say I know tons of people that are in law enforcement would probably be an understatement, because just lots of people come out of the military, they go into law enforcement, so I know many people that are in law enforcement at some level. So you can have the discussion about police brutality and overreach, stuff like that. I don't get into the funding issue and all that other stuff with them, but the one thing that really sticks in me that I is when you see the American flag that's white, black and white out, and they got the blue line through it, right? And that's the other, the blue line flag with just the black and the blue, whatever. I really have a hard time with people who talk about respecting the flag, respecting American flag, but yet they're willing to desecrate it by blacking it all out and white, and then putting a thin blue line through it, which exactly means the opposite of everything that flag stands for. If you look at the symbolism of that, it's a travesty. It's straight up blasphemy as far as what America, and you talk about Independence Day, anybody that flies a thin blue blind flag as the American flag variant on today is a traitor. And in reality, if not not in their mind necessarily, not in most people's mind, but the thin blue line flag superimposed over the American flag takes away the blood and the white. The blood is the red, white's liberty and freedom, is taking that out of America, putting a thin blue line dividing the country out of the flag, because those colors are all symbolic on the American flag, right? And to take all that out and say this thin blue line is all that matters and is holding us together is traitorous in my mind, and it's bad. It's a symbolism that is lost on most people, but it's significant in my mind, and it's more significant than people are willing to give it credit for. And people give it way too much of a pass who supposedly care about the American flag and respecting it, but then they disrespect it by flying that thing. And then there's the whole people who fly that alongside a Gaston flag, which are like, you don't get it at all. You're totally out to lunch on what any of this means and any of the problems that are going on. So that's my rant on the problems we have with the police state rising. But the symbolism is incrementalism. People begin to accept things. Hey Wyatt, what's up? What's going on out east there? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good, Midas. Or I mean, Wyatt, I saw Midas comment there. Yeah, you don't believe in the thin blue line, right? And that's another problem, is they lump all the law enforcement. This is an even bigger problem. You want to get a rant about this? Sheriffs are not the same as law enforcement police. Police are corporate enforcers. They work for a corporate entity in the cities and whatever corporate entity has formed that police force, right? Sheriffs are completely different. And that's the whole idea of the constitutional sheriff. Sheriffs are an elected entity that work for the people directly without that corporate control. But yet they are being slowly but surely lumped together into that one thin blue line. And there's a reason sheriffs wear usually a brownish, tan, green uniform versus blue, because sheriffs aren't that same type of law enforcement. They never have been. They shouldn't be. So there's a reason that they're different in color scheme and dress and everything, but they're slowly but surely being lumped together with all these police forces, if not in practice, at least mentally, and in training and everything else. These sheriffs are being, these deputized forces are being lumped in with the other law enforcement, in quote, when they shouldn't be, and they're completely separate and should be separate. But that goes back to the problem of federalized training, federalized funding, and everything else, and less independence. Sheriff's departments should be completely independent of anything other than their local county that elected them. That's who controls them. But it's not. It's very quickly not becoming that, unfortunately. D-Mac Outdoors. Hey, what's up, D-Mac? I haven't seen you in a while, man. Have you been? It could be a YouTube unsubscribe deal. I don't know. But like I was telling, well, who was on here earlier? Broseph. I was telling Broseph, I don't know if I've been unsubscribed or just missed your videos. YouTube does its thing. Hey, M Long, what's up? All right, Wyatt, you're coming west. That's right. I like that Jeep setup. That's a good rig you got set up. That's a classic rig too. You've been off what, D-Mac? All right, no worries. I just didn't want to get some good content you're putting out there. Yeah, Wes says we got a new jail now. You have mostly jailers in the sheriff's department, right? Yeah, cool. Got a lot of old timers checking in here. Good to see everybody. Got a good crowd. But everybody get out there and enjoy your Independence Day. I'm still, just like I said, wrapping up breakfast. Now that I finished the whole muffin, not just the half muffin, that I started with. Those Costco muffins are dangerous. You know what I'm saying? They'll sneak up on you just when you think you got them under control. And my coffee's about gone too, so we can wrap this up. Wes is going to go poke holes in paper. Sound like either half of y'all have already poked holes in paper and the other half are going. It's a good way to spend the day. I might go confirm some zeros ourselves. Is about the only thing we'll get to. We need to do some confirm zero on some things. We'll see how that goes, but we're going to barbecue. I think we're going to get in the pool if it warms up. It's been kind of cool here the last couple of days. Like for July, it should be above. I mean, it was below 80 a couple of days and breezy, so it was not what you would call hot. You know, we're used to the 90s in this time of year around here, and it definitely wasn't that, which when you're working outside is good, but when you want to go to the pool, it's not quite so good. You know? Hey, Tommy boy, what's up? But starting to ramble? Yeah, I've been starting to ramble, Tommy. Right? I got off on several topics, but if you missed the original monologue at the beginning, you can go back and review the very first 15 minutes was really the point of the video, and everything else is just commenting what you guys are talking about, and still you can still celebrate and still be exasperated with the current condition of the country and of what little independence we do have. So it is what it is. But still celebrate and remember the history, because whoa. Thank goodness. Over there. Get away from there. That's what they want to do, is erase the history so we don't remember it, because that's really the motivation you can draw from the historical example. Art by Adrian. Hey, good evening or afternoon. How are you? Thanks for checking in. Yeah, go back to the beginning, Tommy. You might like it. You'll probably have some comments to correct me, I'm sure. Yep, still being alive. Have a good day, Wes. Yeah, we should probably check out, but like lots of good comments in here. Like lots of good activities everybody's got planned for the day. Um, but if you missed the first point of the video, you could rewind it those first 5-10 minutes and get the gist of what I was trying to go after with the comments, and just then we just got to talking to everybody. So it's a typical live stream. Oh, Wes has to. Wes lied. Copperhead is on Amazon Prime Video. Roger. Amazon Prime. Got it, Wes. I'll have to see if anybody's got Amazon Prime. Does everybody have Amazon? Is that why Jeff Bezos is the richest guy in the world? Because everybody has Amazon Prime? With everybody being locked at home and can't go shopping, they just go it on Amazon. That seems to be the situation. Arizona High Desert. Welcome. Right on. Yes, poison stingers in Arizona. Not necessarily the high desert. Phoenix, I don't think, is considered the high desert, but he's in the desert for sure. Right, Wyatt? We're always in the fight, engaged, right? Right. All right. Hey, thanks, people. I'll get out of here. An hour is really way over time limit, so we'll get out of here and go enjoy your day. Remember the independence that was demanded, and demand independence for yourself. You don't have to do prep hard, live free.